Warning! This video has spoilers of the Phantom Forces set. If you don't want to know what's in the set, click away now.
Also, TCG Zapdos, he does a very good job as well. Very helpful for newer and experienced players alike, so check him out. And TCG Zapdos, great shows with episodes and great editing, and if you like the Pokemon trading card game, check out their videos.
I don't wanna floor guess. Nope. I really wanna Gengar EX, so let me get more booster back so I finally have a great deck like that.
Yep.
Don't wanna Gyro Sick.
Nah.
Maybe my electric EX will make it a bit better when I get them out my box, but we'll have to see if I have some luck. Hey yo, you know how it goes. You get way too hyped when a new set shows up in your retail store. You get some bags and open them when you're at home until you discover what EX you pulled isn't the one to fulfill the desires you had, but still an epic looking card. What else is playable? Maybe it's hard to figure out, but that's where Zapdos TCG speaks out loud. And it's out like this. You'll hear everything and you won't have to miss any details of the review. The only thing you think is, I don't wanna floor guess.
Nope.
I really wanna Gengar EX, so let me get more booster back so I finally have a great deck like that.
Yep.
Don't wanna Gyro Sick.
Nah.
Maybe my electric EX will make it a bit better when I get them out my box, but we'll have to see if I have some luck.
What's up YouTube, it's Zapdos TCG here and welcome to episode 85. In this episode, I'm gonna be reviewing the Phantom Forces set, which is our new set, comes out on November 5th. We had some pre-releases and all those scans are available in English, so let's check out the set already. So, I'm not gonna review every card of the set, but only the most interesting cards in my opinion. So, let's start it off with Venomoth. Venomoth has the attack Dizzying Wind, and whenever your opponent plays a trainer card from his or her hand during his or her turn, your opponent has to flip a coin, and if tails, that a card has no effect, and you still have to discard that card. So it reminds me of the Slowking from the Neo Genesis, all the way back in the Wizards of the Coast era. But yeah, that attack could be quite devastating. So imagine yourself that your opponent has like a top deck Juniper and he has no cards in his hand. He plays it and then he flips tails. So yeah, he has some bad luck on his side. Maybe with some Crushing Hammers and some Soul cards, maybe the Verbank Laser, we can actually have something going on with this Venomoth. It's pretty neat to test it out. Let's see if it works. And it's still a rogue deck, so, however, since it doesn't deal any damage with Dizzying Wind, but still we can try it out. Next is Yanmega. Yanmega has the Surprise Strike, and if this Pokemon was on the bench and became your active Pokemon this turn, this attack does 100 damage. So for 3 colorless energies, a grass Pokemon, free retreat, 100 damage. Yeah, nothing to be laughing about because Yanmega could be actually the one to destroy Seismitoad EX. Next is Pyroar. If you're playing Pyroar, then you have some luck because there's another Pyroar in this set with the ability Flare Command. Once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy from this Pokemon, and if you do, you can actually do the exact same thing like Lysander. You can actually capture out one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So with an ability like that, you can actually in combination with the other Pyroar, have a great strategy by capturing out Pokemon that have a huge retreat cost, and that way you can build up your Pyroars and actually lock your opponent because they can't attack. You usually want to use that Flare Command ability to capture out an EX Pokemon. So it also does 110 damage, so that's quite a decent amount of damage for a Pyroar. So next card is Feraligatr, one of the Johto starters, the end evolution from Totodile. So Feraligatr has the attack Hyper Pool, dealing 60 damage, flip a coin until you get tails. For each head, discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So could be quite devastating indeed. And a second attack is actually Second Strike, how ironic. So 80 damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, this attack deals 160 damage instead. That is actually a lot. So Feraligatr might be used with a combination with Blastoise, but still it's a stage 2, and having a lot of stage 2s in his deck isn't that great to begin with, but still 160 damage for 4 energies, nothing to laugh at. Next is Jellicent, the ghost type water Pokemon. It has the attack Meddling. Attach 3 energies from your opponent's discard pile to his or her Pokemon in any way you like, so you can actually get all the energies from their discard and attach it to something like, let's say, you attach it to a Garbodor. Yeah, you can just meddle around with your opponent. But his second attack is Ensnaring Spray, dealing 50 damage plus 10 more. damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So actually the meddling attack is the reason I put this card in this review, because it could be quite hilarious to actually attach energies from your opponent's discard to a Garbodor or any Pokemon that doesn't need energies. Next is Manectric EX, the first EX of the set, and looks really epic if I say so myself. Lightning is my favorite type. As the attack Overrun, dealing 20 damage and then 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon as well. So it's basically like the Hammerhead from Landorus EX, but then a bit weaker, but it's just for a Carless energy, so that's great. Also his second attack, Assault Laser, deals 60 damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon has a tool card attached to it, you deal 120 damage instead. Do you guys know what that means? You can Lysandrite the Garbodor with a tool card and get rid of the ability lock and everything in your pad because they have a tool card attached. So 120 damage, 2 energies, a really great card, and it has resistance to steel, actually the metal type, which also gets a boost thanks to this set. The bad thing though about Manectric is the fighting weakness, so we definitely want to figure out something with that. Alright. Next is a Mega Manectric EX. The Mega evolves into this epic beast, also 2 energies. It deals 110 damage, and you can attach 2 basic energies from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. This is huge because you can actually build up stuff that you thought was never playable, but you can have some energy acceleration, and it's actually 2 basic energies. You can actually choose what types and everything is possible with this combination. Turbo Bolt, an amazing attack. The thing though is we also have the Spirit Link cards for Mega Manectric, so we can actually use it without having the downside if you Mega Evolve. And the thing about this card, why it's so great, is because it has a free retreat cost. So Mega Manectric decks, expect them at your upcoming tournaments when the set is finally legal and available. Alright, next is Joltik. Wow, Joltik sucks, don't you think? Well, not really. It has the attack Night March, dealing 20 damage times the number of Pokemon in your discard pile that have the attack Night March. I'm actually gonna make a separate video about the Night March deck, which is actually a budget deck for people that don't have the money to actually buy these expensive EXs and stuff, because Night March can actually add up to a ton of damage, and it's just for regular Pokemon, non-EX, so your opponent only takes 1 prize card. So Night March attacks, expect them soon. Alright, next is Heliosilt. Evolves from Heppopetal, which actually is the Pokemon that I know personally like. Skull Circle GCG definitely likes that Pokemon. But anyway, Heliosilt is in this set. Deals Parabolic Spark, dealing 30 damage. Discard as many lightning energies attached to your Pokemon as you like, and this attack deals 30 damage times the number of energies you discard. So spread over all your Pokemon, so which means if you use Mega Manectric a couple of times and then use Heliosilt, you can actually deal a ton of damage. So maybe we can test it out. Next is Golbat. I already reviewed this in one of my Poke News sections in a previous episode, so let's see. It has the ability Sneaky Bite. When you play this Pokemon to evolve your Zubat, you put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Not bad, really. It has free retreat as well. Next is the other evolution, Crobat. If you evolve your Golbat, you place 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So let's say you have 4 Zubats out, you evolve them all at the same turn, you actually deal a lot of damage. The same goes for Crobat. You can deal damage with that, and even with Hypnotoxic Laser and Fairbank City, we have ourselves another fun deck. Also, free retreat is awesome, and resistance to fighting, but the lightning weakness will hurt because Manectric is coming for you. Next is Gengar EX, probably the most hyped EX from the set, because I already made an episode about it. The Gengar EX will have its own deck. I reviewed it already. It has the attack Night Attack. It deals, actually it puts 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Also has the attack Dark Corridor for a Psychic and 2 Carless energies, actually a DCE. You deal 60 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, and you switch around to one of your bench Pokemon. So it's basically like the Donphin from the Plasma Storm spinning turn, but then this Gengar also poisons the active Pokemon, and it is a basic as well, so it deserves its own deck. It is weak to Evoltol EX and Darkness Pokemon, so be careful for that, but other than that, Gengar EX is one of the most hyped EXs from the set you want to get. It also evolves to the Mega Gengar EX. It has the attack Phantom Gate, and you actually can choose one of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack without any downsides. You don't need the necessary energies or anything. You can just straight use the attack. It's awesome like that. Phantom Gate actually is the name of the Japanese set, just to get that out there, and we have Phantom Forces. But anyway, this Pokemon also has a Spirit Link card, so we can evolve it without downsides, and Mega Gengar will actually see some play because, let's say, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks. This is really dangerous if your opponent actually has like, let's say, a really powerful Pokemon like Charizard that deals actually a lot of damage. We can just use it for free. Yeah. Next is Wobbuffet, and this one has an ability Bite a Barricade. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, each Pokemon in play and each player's hand and in each player's discard pile has no abilities except for psychic Pokemon. So it's just like the same like Garbodor, but then psychic Pokemon are safe, so you can actually still use the abilities of all your psychic Pokemon. So this could be pretty neat to switch into. If you have Gengar, then your opponent can't use any abilities, so maybe, yeah. It also has Psychic Assault. This attack does 10 damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So yeah, a pretty neat card, 110 HP for a basic, so maybe test it out if you like blocking abilities. Next is Lampent. Now why you say like, wow, this card is not that good, but still again, just like the Joltik, we have Night March, the attack. This attack, if you actually have some of Lampents in the discard pile, I would actually play this deck without the Litwicks. I would go just for the Joltiks and then with maybe some testing out, because the Joltik can attack for a DCE and this one actually needs more energies. But then again, yeah, you can actually have more HP with the Lampent, but it's all personal preferences, because the Night March attack could be quite devastating, as I said, if there's a lot of Pokemon in the discard pile like that. Alright, next is Chandelure. If you want to actually play Litwicks, go for the Chandelure, and it has the ability Fainting Spell. If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, you can flip a coin, and if heads, if you're really lucky, the attacking Pokemon is knocked out. Just imagine yourself and the X wants to knock out your Chandelure. They strike you and you flip hits and they are actually knocked out as well. Then you get 2 prizes and they only get 1. So yeah, a great way to test it out. Also, Curse Drop puts 6 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like, so you can spread them around like that. So Chandelure, quite a decent card. Next is Pumpkaboo. Again, this one is used for the Night March. So we are still building up the army for Night March. I'm gonna make a separate video about it, as I mentioned. Also for the metal decks and for the upcoming electric deck will be an episode about that. So stay tuned, folks. And now, as I mentioned, Pumpkaboo for Night March attack, really great. That means we have 4 Lampants, 4 Pumpkaboo, 4 Joltik. If you put everything in the discard pile except for 1 Pokemon, you deal a massive amount of damage. So that's why Night March could be decent. Next is Gourgeist. If you evolve your cute looking Pumpkaboo into this pumpkin of the disaster, we have Gorgantic. His ability, actually, if this Pokemon has any grass type energies attached to it, his maximum HP becomes 200. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, just imagine a stage 1 with 200 HP. Really hard to knock down in most situations. And yeah, the great thing though is that it has to have a grass energy. Maybe you can combine it with Virizion EX. That way we can also not be poisoned, paralyzed, burned, and any other special condition. He has an attack, a horror note, 10 damage times the number of cards in your hand. So if you have like a huge amount of hand, it could actually attack as well. But yeah, that amount of HP is also something to use it for. Next is Gliscor. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Submission Hold. This is the attack you want to use with this card. It deals 20 damage and your opponent can attach energies from his or her hand to the defending Pokemon during his or her next turn. Do you guys know what this means? Just, yeah, another fun deck here. We have Gliscor, just attach a fighting, actually a strong energy, fighting stadium, hypnotoxic laser. You do the attack, and then in combination with hammers like the crushing hammer, the enhanced hammer, which is back in the format thanks to this set. In combination with Steam Flare Grunts, yeah, you actually destroy all the energies on your opponent's side of the field. You use the attack and they can't attack any energy. So it can have like a lock where your opponent just doesn't have energies to attack. Really great to test it out. Next is Gigalith, 140 HP. It has the ability High Density Armor. If this Pokemon has full HP, any damage done to it by opponent's attacks is reduced by 50, which actually is quite a lot. Just imagine yourself that you're up against a Seismitoad. They use the Quaking Punch and actually they deal 0 damage because even with Muscle Band they deal 0 damage. So yeah, a bad thing though is with Hypnotoxic Laser the ability gets screwed around like that, but still it's still something to look out for, because with strong energy you can actually build this one up. It also has Overdrive Smash, dealing 60 damage plus yeah, during your next turn this Pokemon's Overdrive Smash attack does 40 more damage. So you can deal 100 damage in combination with your strong energies fighting stadium, can actually add up to 100 and yeah, whatever damage to knock out EXs. So Gigalith, still it's a stage 2, I'm not a big fan of that, so maybe some of you guys will test it out. Next is Honchkrow. This one is used for his Nightmare Mambo, yeah. Mumbo Jumbo like that. Nightmare Mambo, dealing 60 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep, this attack does 60 more damage. 120 damage for just a DC and a Darkness Energy. Really great. The bad thing though, weakness to Lightning, so the format will actually shift a bit because Manectric is in the format. Fighting is still popular, but Gengar actually is resistant to fighting. Yveltal is also resistant to fighting, so it will be an awesome format. That's why this review is so exciting, yeah, what am I saying? So, a great thing to use Honchkrow for is in combination with the new EX Mulmar, but I'll talk about that later. Even with Moona could have something decent. But then you also need like grass energies in combination with Virizion, or otherwise you will be asleep yourself. Okay, next is Spirit Tomb. It has the B cancel, the attack, dealing 10 damage, and your opponent can't play any Pokemon from his or her hand to evolve the defending Pokemon during his or her next turn. So maybe you can block Pyroars because they can't evolve like that, but other than that I don't see any use for it right now because most decks usually run around basics. Alright, next is Mimori X, which I talked about in combination with Honchkrow. So, whenever you attach an energy from your hand to this Pokemon, you may use the ability Hyper Hypnosis, and then your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep. Do you know what that means? Yeah, the Honchkrow can actually deal 120 damage time after time. Also has the attack Maximar. How ironic. It deals 60 damage times. You have to flip a coin for each energy attached to this Pokemon and then deal 60 damage times the number of hits. So in combination, let's say you have 3 energies attached, all 3 of them are hits, you deal actually 180 damage. So if you have a bit of luck on your side, test out Mimori EX. Next is Skarmory. This is just a regular metal type Pokemon. I'm mentioning it just because metal Pokemon get the Bronzong, which is also the pre-release card of the set that actually helps you get metal energies from your discard pile onto your Pokemon, just like the Electric Dig back in the days from Noble Victories to your Lightning Pokemon. So Skarmory, a really great card because it just deals 90 damage, and you know what that means. 90 damage times 2 is 180 damage, knocks out most EXs if they aren't that Mega Evolved, that is. So test it out if you're playing the metal deck. Maybe one copy, who knows? It might save your life. Next is Bronzong. Also, this is one of the reasons that metal Pokemon get some hype. Once during your turn, you may attach metal energies from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. So with the ability Metal Links, it can actually have building up some basic, powerful basic, mostly steel, but maybe other types with if you have Rainbow. But then again, Enhanced Hammer is in the format. But yeah, you can test it out because energy acceleration with metal is something we haven't seen before. Yeah, we did see it, removing it with Klinklangs, the energies around, but still getting them out of the discard pile is something new, and that's why everyone is quite hyped about it. Next is Dialga EX, maybe put it in the metal deck as well. It has the attack Chrono Wind. If the defending Pokemon is a Pokemon EX, it can attack during your opponent's next turn. This is awesome because most people run EXs, but the bad thing though is that if they run Keldeo EX with Floatstone, they can overcome this ability, actually this the effect of the attack, because once you switch around, the effect gets neglected like that. But still, 60 damage, their opponent Pokemon EX is forced to retreat because they can't attack. Also, Full Metal Impact deals 150 damage, so this is really powerful with a Muscle Band, dealing 170 damage, almost knocking out everything, and maybe with a Hypnotoxic Laser you knock out every EX in the set, thanks to this awesome attack, and maybe with Bronzongs on your field, you can actually build up once again, because it has to discard 2 metal energies once you use the attack. You can get them back really easy with Bronzong. So metal Pokemon, definitely look forward to them. The bad thing though about metal Pokemon is that they are weak to fire, just like this Pokemon, Heatran. Heatran has 130 HP. It actually has the Steel Drop attack, deals 40 damage. If there's Stadium card in play, then you deal 80 damage. Also, Steam Blast deals 130 damage for 4 energies, but then you have to discard an energy, but you can get it back, as I said, with Bronzong. But 130 damage on a non-EX attacker is always great. Check it out. Also, another EX from the metal types, we have Aegislash EX. 170 HP, really decent. Again, the weakness to fire will hurt if you're facing Pyro, but then again, this Pokemon has the ability Mighty Shield, prevents all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from each of your opponent's Pokemon that has special energies attached to it. So, Seismitoad with a DCE can hit him, the Pyro with a DCE can hit him, so everything that has special energy, Pokemon with Rainbow energies, Plasma energies, everything that has special energies attached can attack Aegislash EX, so you'll have to be careful to attach special energies if you're facing a metal deck like this. It also has a pretty neat attack, Slash Blast, dealing 40 damage plus 20 more for each metal energy attached to this Pokemon. Just imagine yourself, 3 metal energies already deals 100 damage. So, Aegislash EX, I'm definitely looking forward to that one as well. Next is another EX on the Fairy type, nevertheless, yeah, we have Florges EX. It has the attack lead, search your deck for a supporter card, reveal and put it in your hand, which is actually not that great. And second attack, Bright Garden, deals 20 damage. This attack does 20 damage actually times the number of grass Pokemon and fairy Pokemon you have in play. So let's say it says actually the Pokemon you have in play, so the maximum amount you can deal is 120 damage. For just 2 energies, yeah, maybe we can test it out. This Florges has a resistance to darkness, but it is weak to metal, so everything actually is being used in the format. We have the fighting decks, the fire decks, the fairy decks, the the metal decks, everything is possible. Maybe the lightning decks. I'm actually looking forward to this format, and as I said, lightning is my favorite type, so I might go for Manectric EX. Next is Slurpuff. Yeah, this little cake actually has the ability Tasting. Once during your turn, you may draw a card. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon though, you can draw an extra card. So maybe in the fairy decks we can have some more variety. You can actually have this Pokemon build up to have actually some more draw support on your side of the field. Maybe in combination with the Keldeo, Russian ability, and Floatstone, you can actually draw 2 cards and then switch around again. It's really amazing like that. Then it also has an attack, but yeah, prevents all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to it once you use the attack, but I wouldn't use Slurper for the attack, just the ability. Next is Diancie. Yeah, the first time we see it as a Pokemon card, it has the attack Sparkle. If the defending Pokemon tries to attack, they have to flip a coin during their next turn, and if it's Tails, that attack does simply nothing. So yeah, some disruptive method like this. Also his Diamond Storm deals 60 damage, and you heal 30 damage from each of your fairy type Pokemon. So in a fairy deck where everything has been hurt, maybe you can switch around, use the attack, and then heal everyone up. Could be decent to test it out. Next is a Hydreigon. This Pokemon is awesome. It has the ability Dark Impulse. Once during your turn, you may attach a Darkness energy from your discard pile to one of your active Pokemon. So let's say Yveltal EX is your active Pokemon, and then Hydreigon or maybe 2 Hydreigons are up on the field on your bench. Maybe you can just use the ability to get a lot of energies onto your Yveltal, get a DCE on there as well, and use a ton of damage with Evil Ball to knock some stuff out. I'm actually looking forward to test that one as well. Anyway, next is Goodra. The ability Slip Trip. Each player can't attach any Pokemon tool cards from his or her hand to his or her Pokemon. Do you know what this means? You do Tool Scraper, and then yeah, you can't attach any tool cards anymore to your Garbodor. Actually, the opponent can't attach anything anymore to their Garbodors. Maybe the Genesect decks will actually hurt from this as well. They can attach G Booster as well. So yeah, Goodra, quite a unique card, and we haven't seen an ability like that, but still, it's a stage 2, so why use it in the first place, since it'll actually, maybe a 1-0-1 line with Rare Candy, but then again, Seismitoad will block us from using the Rare Candy. Anyway, Goodra is still need to be mentioned in this video. Next is Blizzy. Alright, it has the Tender Vengeance attack, 10 times. Flip a coin, if heads, this attack does 10 damage times the number of damage counters on each of your bench Pokemon. You know the times where you like retreat your Pokemon when they actually have over 100 damage. Yeah, let's say imagine you have 3 of those out, then you get out your Blizzy and then use the attack. You can actually deal for a ton of damage, but you do have to get some luck on your side, because you have to flip heads in order to correctly use the attack, otherwise you deal 0 damage. Also, the charge dash deals 60 damage, you may do 20 more if you do 20 damage to yourself. 80 damage in total. So, Blizzy, I'm not seeing any use of it, but maybe if you have some luck on your side, try it out. Just a stage 1. Next is Exploud, the stage 2 Pokemon. It has the attack Boom Burst, just like the Noivern from the previous set, but then again, it only deals 20 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon instead of 30. So yeah, maybe we can just use the attack time after time to get a lot of prizes in combination with Dusknoir, but I'm not a big fan of that because the stage 2 again is not my way to go in this format. Next, another basic, Regigigas, 130 HP. It seems to be holding like one of those signs on the road with the number 9 for some reason. It has the attack Daunt, 80 damage. During your opponent's next turn, any damage done by attacks from the defending Pokemon is reduced by 40. So a defensive type of attack. Also, Heavy Impact, no, not Giga Impact. Heavy Impact deals 100 damage. It has resistance to nothing, weakness to fighting, and 4 retreat cost. So I'm not a big fan of Regigigas just for the retreat cost. The attacks are decent though, but yeah, you do need to have a DCE on there, otherwise they'll take too long to charge up, and since Enhanced Hammer is back in the format, I don't see it working that well. Next to the trainers and supporters, we have AZ, yeah. Put one of your Pokemon into your hand, discard all other cards attached to it. So maybe AZ in combination with the Crobats and the Golbats I mentioned earlier might have their own deck. Other than that, it could help to heal off some damage in certain situations like the Fairy deck, where you move around all the energies and then you can just heal off like this. Next is Battle Compressor, a pretty neat way to compress your deck. You search 3 cards, up to 3 cards, and discard them. Actually search 3 cards in your deck and just discard them straight away. So let's say at the end of the game you don't need any Pokemon fan clubs in a setup deck, just discard them with Battle Compressor. Also, you have to be careful about attacking out with this card, but still it's an item card, as it could be used at any time. instead of your item locked. And next is Dimensional Valley, one of the more popular cards from the set. Each psychic Pokemon's attack count 1 colorless energy less. So this also works for your opponent, not only yourself, so be careful for that. So that's Mewtwo can use his Axe Ball for just a colorless energy. Wow, but then again, he needs energies to deal more damage, but still again, just hold that thought, and other Pokemon like that can attack just like it. Just 1 colorless energy less, the Gengar can attack for 2 energies, and maybe with his first attack for 0 energies, so that's great. Next is Enhanced Hammer. This is actually one of the top 10 cards, probably from the set, because Enhanced Hammer is back in the format. It used to be really great, it is still great, and it will be great in your future tournament. Look out for it, discarding special energies. I made a separate video about Enhanced Hammer the return, check that out on my channel. Next is the Gengar Spirit Link card, also a hyped card because you need it to evolve your Gengar EX to Mega Gengar EX without downsides. Next is Hand Scope. Your opponent just reveals his hand. Simple as that. Maybe running 1 copy can actually help you in certain situations. Next is Headringer. This is one of the holographic Team Flare Hyper Gear tool cards, whatever you want to call them. You can attach them to your opponent's active Pokemon. Actually, not to your active Pokemon. You can evolve it, actually attach it to just... Wow, I'm struggling over my words. To one of your opponent's Pokemon EXs. Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. And this Pokemon that has the tool card attached actually has 1 colorless energy more to pay for his attack. So let's say you attach with a DCE and Mewtwo. Well, you need an extra energy because you have the Head Ringer attached. Next is another card similar like that, but then they deal 20 less damage to the other Pokemon. You attach it again to your opponent's EXs. Great to test it out. Let's say, yeah, you attach the Jamming Net to Seismitoad, they deal 10 damage. Wow, that won't be doing much anytime around. Also, they can't attach other tool cards anymore because they have this one attached. So Muscle Band is not an option anymore if you can get those out to your opponent. Next is Lysander's Trump card, one of the more popular, as I said. Now I'm getting to the more supporters and stuff where everyone is hyped for. This one is really great. Each player shuffles all cards in his or her discard pile back into their deck, except for this card, of course. So you can actually have a match where you have where you can reuse everything. Let's say you have 4 Junipers in your deck. Well, use Lysander's Trump card. You have 4 Junipers again. Same goes for Hypnotoxic Lasers, Muscle Bands, everything you will need. You can use it again at the end of the game. A late game card, Lysander's Trump card like that. Next is Manectric Spirit Link card, similar to the Gengar Spirit Link card. It actually makes it so your Manectric EX can evolve without any downsides to the Mega Manectric EX. Definitely run one if you're running Mega Manectric EX, otherwise you'll be slowed down a lot. And since Manectric is so fast, you'll definitely want to use this card because on your second turn, you can actually attack with Mega Manectric EX for 110 damage, build up some stuff. Really powerful. Next is Sycamore, getting reprinted. For some reason, they are not tired of the supporter that lets you discard your hand and draw 7 cards. Alright, next is the Robo Substitute. Talked about it before. This is actually one of those cards that you can act as if it was a 30 HP basic Pokemon at any time during your turn, and you may discard this card from play anytime you want to during your turn. And actually, if your opponent knocks it out, they don't get a prize card as well. So it actually is a stall card. Could be decent. Next, Roller Skates get reprinted, Shauna as well. Then we have Steel Shelter. Each metal Pokemon can be affected by special conditions. Definitely run this if you're running a metal deck. That way you can attack time after time without having to worry about, oh no, I'm poisoned, oh no, I'm asleep, oh, everything is possible. So Steel Shelter, it also makes it so other stadium cards get discarded from your opponent. Next is the Target Whistle. I definitely like that. Put a basic Pokemon from your opponent's discard pile onto his or her bench. Just imagine yourself, you are in the late game, you only need 1 prize card to win. You use this card, get out some poor little Litleo or something else that they have, or maybe a Mr. Mime, who knows, use it, Lysander it out, and knock it out. That way you win. Definitely look forward to this one because it can help you win games at the late game because you can get your target onto your opponent's bench. This also works in Pyro decks where they don't bench anything. Just to get that out there. Next is Turno. Yeah, this card gets reprinted as well. So they're actually preparing for maybe, how do you say it, format shift later this year, actually before Worlds. But it won't be for this set. I think it will be the next format, X and Y on. Let's see if I'm true or not, or if I'm correct. Next is Trick Coin. Once during your turn, after you flip any coins from an attack of the Pokemon this card is attached to, you may ignore all effects of those flipping coins, and you just reflip them again, just like Victini's ability, but then a tool card. Maybe Malmar EX will love this card to actually deal more damage. If you like flip coins until you get tails for each, or actually flip coins for each energy, and you have tails, you can use it again. Trick Coin can be actually making some decks because certain cards are just too risky. Maybe with this you can use them. Next is VS Seeker, put a supporter from your discard pile into your hand. Could be really efficient in the most situations, like let's say late game, you top deck VS Seeker and then you're good to go. The bad thing though is that it's an item card, and if your item block, let's say Trevenant or Seismitoad is blocking your pad, you can't use it. Maybe, yeah, other decks can test it out. Next is Jurassic. Yeah, this card is choose a Pokemon tool card or a special energy card attached to your Pokemon in play. Actually, to a Pokemon in play, you can choose yours, your opponent's, it doesn't really matter, and then discard it. Could be decent, but still I'm more fan of the Enhanced Hammer or the Starling Megaphone. This also works in an item lock, so maybe, who knows, can be some play, can see some play, yeah. Next is DCE getting reprinted. Then Mystery Energy, one of the more popular cards of the set. This actually makes it so the retreat cost of your Psychic Pokemon is 2 less. Wow, amazing, don't you think? Mewtwo with free retreat, Deox is Deox with free retreat. Every Psychic Pokemon usually has free retreat. 2 retreat cost less is amazing. Next, the full arts, we have Manectric, amazing, just amazing. Gengar, this is also one of the Pokemon I want to build for my booster box, actually pull. The next is Malmar, looks really tedious like this. And Florgus, and then AZ, Lysander's Trump card, this is amazing, I want to have this one. Gerosic, yeah. Then Mega Manectric is the secret rare, as well as a Mega Gengar. And then we have one last card from the set I want to review as the Dialga EX. I reviewed it already, but I want to show it anyway. This is also a secret rare, the 122nd card from the set. Usually this set has a 119 card, but it has 122 cards from the complete set with the secret rares included. So that's it for another review for another set. Hopefully you enjoyed my enthusiastic review about the set. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about the set. What cards are you hyped for? Did you get some good cards of your pre-release, and what deck are you gonna play at your next tournament? Let me know in the comment sections below, and thanks again for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Also, if you don't mind, click that like button if you enjoyed the video, because you know I always appreciate it, and it actually helps me to level up my Zapdos, believe it or not. Anyway, you can also click here to subscribe if you want to, that way you'll stay automatically updated once I release a new video on YouTube. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Peace! Hi, if you haven't checked out the previous episode, you should definitely take a look. It's about Gengar EX deck analysis, which means Gengar EX gets his own deck. Are you curious? Go check it out if you haven't already. Next, of course, is another video I like to call the mini episodes. They will be released after an episode containing some Poke news, because usually I don't actually have the news on the day where I make the episode, so that way I can get you the latest news as fast as possible. The last mini episode was about the Enhanced Hammer getting a reprint. And then we also have the TCG online matches, which I do a lot. And the last TCG match was kind of epic, the Virizion Genesect deck versus Virizion Genesect, a mirror match. Quite exciting, so check that out. And I'm out. Peace.